Welcome to Families in Focus, a very special caucus series looking at the challenges and pressures facing the modern American family. I'm Steve Adubato. Today, more teenage girls than boys are starting to use marijuana, alcohol, and cigarettes, and research shows that parents are the most important influence in combating this trend. Here to help families guard against the dangers of teen abuse among girls are Brian Gamarello, who is the clinical director at Daytop, New Jersey, a not-for-profit adolescent substance abuse and education program. Casey is currently in treatment at Daytop, New Jersey. Linda Surks is a drug prevention specialist with the National Council on Alcoholism and Drug Dependence in Middlesex County. And Kenya Muchkonda is the unit director at the Boys and Girls Clubs of Union County, that is in Plainfield, New Jersey. I also want to acknowledge, Linda, in case people did not see some of the other programming that we have done, you also have a very personal connection to the subject. Tell them about your son, Jason.
Yes, in December of 2003, my son Jason was away at college when he died of an overdose of prescription drugs that he was abusing. He had gotten them over the internet from a Mexican pharmacy.
Okay. And I want to thank you for joining us on this program. This program has a different focus, but many of the same themes.
Sure.
You know, I've said this every time we do a program dealing with drugs, alcohol, teens, that I never cease to be amazed at the statistics, but the statistics don't really tell the whole picture. But there are some trends here. There are more girls who are abusing drugs than ever before, correct?
Yes.
Why?
I think there's a lot of reasons why. One of the big reasons I think girls get involved with drugs, Steve, is peer pressure really applies more. The need to be socially accepted is more important to females than it is to males.
Really? More pressure?
I think so, yeah.
Casey, more pressure on girls?
Yeah, I think for most girls, yes.
What kind of pressure?
Pressure to fit in, make sure they're accepted. They want to have a lot of friends. They want to be able to be accepted in high school, especially. Low self-esteem, I think, is another reason. Me, not so much, no.
You seem like a pretty confident young lady to me.
I consider myself pretty confident, yes.
Well, what was your story? What happened with you?
With me, I just I entered high school, and before high school, I didn't have many friends. It was just me and my twin sister. So when I entered high school, I made a lot of friends, and they were older. And I just always hung out with an older crowd. And
where did drugs come into it?
I got those friends from high school, and I just started using. This is when I used to live in Delaware. And I started using, and then when I moved back to New Jersey, the pattern just continued, and I started making friends through using.
Back up, making friends through using.
Yes, go to school and basically tell them, oh, you want to come over to my house and smoke a blunt or something when you come.
Smoke a bone?
Yeah.
Smoke marijuana?
Yeah.
And let me ask you, was it clear to you who was using and who wasn't?
You can tell, yes. Attitudes, the way they walk around school. I think people that use are more self-confident, I guess.
Really?
I've noticed that, when they're using.
Well, let's describe a little bit about your drug use. It started when you're how old?
14.
Who turned you onto it?
I guess my friends from school.
Your mom used alcohol and drugs?
Yes.
Did you know that?
Yes.
And how young were you when you were aware that your mom was using drugs and alcohol?
I mean, I don't really know the story of her past when I was growing up, but when I was living in Delaware and I was 14, she did drink. Other times I would drink in the house and she would be all right with it, things like that. And I think the worst part about it was she was trying to be my friend rather than my mother. So when she actually did try to lay down some rules and she wanted me to respect her, I couldn't because she was doing the same stuff I did.
Was it too late then when she tried to be the parent?
For the most part, yes.
Well, I want to stay with this a little bit. The notes tell me, you told our producers, that you started using drugs to some extent to lose weight. Is that correct? Was weight ever an issue?
No, I was really skinny when I started using drugs.
You were skinny when you started using drugs?
I was 103 pounds.
Really?
Yeah, I was really skinny when I started using drugs. Most people, they lose weight when they start using drugs, but for me it was the opposite. I started gaining weight.
Weight?
Yeah.
But what's fascinating to me is the research shows that some of the reasons why young women, why girls get involved in drugs, have to do with body image and weight. Am I missing something here?
No, that's true.
Okay, go ahead.
No, that's true.
What do you see at the Boys and Girls Club? I mean, you see some of this early on, right?
Yeah, we see a lot of this early on. That's why at the Boys and Girls Club we have a program called Smart Girls.
Smart Girls.
Yes.
What's it all about? By the way, you log on to our website, you'll find all about Smart Girls and Daytop and other terrific programs. Go ahead.
Smart Girls is a program developed specifically for girls, so they can learn to develop healthy attitudes about themselves, a healthy lifestyle, the way to look out on life. Because a lot of, like Casey mentioned, she mentioned the peer pressure, body image. The most important person in a young girl's life when they're hitting that age, the biggest influences are their friends.
Most important.
Most important.
Not the parents.
Not the parent.
Even if the parent wants to. I mean, the other program we did, the other drug program, which we were talking about, the internet and its influence or the ability to get drugs, prescription and illegal drugs via the internet, and we were talking about the parent has to be really involved, the parent has to be engaged, the parent has to know what's on the computer, all that stuff. And then you say, yeah, you can do all those things, but, I'll come back to you, but Brian, in the end, the friends are the most important influencers?
That's the driving force when they start making their decisions. But it's very important, and it's key for the parents to be involved. But you got to understand, in a young person's life, in their world, their friends is the beginning and the end. But how they get grounded, how they get those basic morals, is from the family, from family involvement. So you need that to combat that.
Okay, so let's talk about body image. Let's talk about the positive things that we can say to young girls so that they don't in any way, well, listen, you can't guarantee anything, but that they're not tempted to use drugs as a weight loss measure. What do we say to them?
Well, I think parents need to be very supportive of their children, of their daughters in particular. They need to really help to boost their self-esteem, give them responsibilities in the home that help them to achieve. Make sure that they understand that a healthy body is more important than a beautiful body, and that it's important for them to keep themselves healthy.